And the way she did that one center combo where we had to do a pirouette and then we didn't bring the foot down. We just were supposed to balance on flat, but we were supposed to balance and then extend the leg that was up, the working leg. And even someone in class like asked to make sure. They were like, wait, so are we does the foot come down to the front or the back? And Natalia was like, no, the foot doesn't come down. With Tracy in LA. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my podcast, Dance Journey. Today we have Pauline Cheng.
Hi, Tracy.
I'm so excited because, well, first of all, we're at Westside Ballet and in Santa Monica, and I haven't been here in a while, actually.
We've missed you.
Aw, I missed you guys. I used to come so often. And now I just live further away. I used to work in Culver City, and then I would come afterwards. And also, my money situation is a little tight right now, and love Westside, but it's also a little pricey. But the dream is to one day be able to come back a ton again because
that would be awesome.
Just going today, actually, okay, wait, let's talk about how we know each other, and then we're going to talk about the class we just took because it was freaking amazing, and I'm excited to talk about it more. But Pauline, well, we know each other from ballet.
Yeah. I want to say I've been coming to Westside for a long time, but after the pandemic, I think a lot of people started coming to Westside that didn't used to. Was that new for you?
That was me. I didn't come till after the pandemic.
Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of studios closed, and so I think a lot of people came here. So I want to say it was Chasen's class.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we became part of his dedicated group of students.
Yes, we always came. Did you used to always come to Saturdays and Wednesdays? Or do you still do that?
Before the pandemic, I would come on Saturday, but my weekend schedule changed, so now I don't come on Saturday morning. I come on Sunday morning.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was also always Wednesday. I mean, before the pandemic, he was teaching, I think he was teaching a different night. I want to say Tuesday. Then they redid their schedule, and so he ended up on Wednesday.
Okay. Yeah. So when I first started coming, I was just doing Saturday morning. My very first class, I think, was Sunday morning with James. James 80, I think, was my very first Westside class. I was kind of trying out that class and also Chasen Greenwood on Saturday morning. So I ended up sticking with Chasen's just because that fit in my schedule better at the time. And it took me a while to eventually take Chasen's Wednesday because that's his more advanced class. And I was like, no, I'm at the beginning still. But people convinced me. And then, yeah, it's cool when you take a teacher who's teaching beginner, who the same teacher also teaches a more advanced class, because then you kind of already know their bar combo, what they like to do. They make it a little harder in the advanced, and definitely the center is a lot more advanced. But when you already kind of have an idea of what they like to do in their combos, it makes the transition to advanced easier.
For sure.
Taking Chasen for a while with his more advanced class, but then asked me to go to another teacher's advanced class, and I'm like,
it's a different story altogether.
No, because I have to know them from beginner first.
I always, when somebody subs for Chasen on Wednesday, it's now an intermediate advanced class, and the only reason I stuck with it is because it was Chasen, because I knew that, first of all, he knows me, so he knows what I can and cannot do. But also, I am familiar with his, all teachers have a preference for their choreography, different steps that they like. But I always have to warn anybody who's a substitute, look, I'm not really an intermediate advanced student. I'm more maybe advanced beginner. So that if they see me standing in the back of the room, especially in the Grand Allegro, they'll know why. Because I'm sitting there going what is happening?
I get that feeling. That's why I usually just wouldn't even go if there was a sub. But I figure that they're going to know within the first few minutes that I'm not very advanced.
And, the teachers that they have at Westside are all so fabulous. So they're all really great at accommodating. There's all different levels of people in every class. It's great to have the advanced dancers in there because then you can watch them and see what they're, as an inspiration. But it's also inspirational when you see somebody who's maybe at your own level and they're off doing the combo and you're standing in the back of the room because you can't figure it out. It's if they can do it, I should be able to, that. So it's inspiring in multiple different ways.
Yeah, I agree. Just to have all the different levels. And it's also cool to be able to learn from people more advanced than you.
Oh, sure.
And then be there to maybe help someone who it's their first time in that class or they just started. You're like, oh, I could actually help someone with this. Like today, I think I helped a girl. I gave her a tip about how to do a pirouette at the bar, which I'm not super good at that, but I have been working on that for a while, and that used to feel really scary to me in the beginning because pirouettes in the center, I mean, hard as it is, but pirouettes at the bar, you're like, am I going to bang into the bar?
Yeah.
So basically, I just told this girl, I usually stand a little further away from the bar. Just because, I don't know, that might not be a pro tip, it might be an amateur tip, but that helps me.
Totally,
so.
Yeah.
So yeah, we met in ballet just because we always took the same class for a while, or classes. And then I feel like the first time we really, we used to kind of stand at the same bar a lot. So I think that's when we started talking more.
Yeah.
And then we went.
I always have this pattern where, and this really started during the pandemic because during the pandemic, they would always have the giant garage door open in Studio 6.
Yes,
So at the beginning of class, I'm always farther away from that giant door.
Oh, you don't love that.
And then in center, I'm always at the other side. I go towards the door. I don't know why I do that, but I do. So I always move over. So I think that you tend to spend most of your time in class at the side where the giant door is.
Yeah.
And so then I come over to where you are, and then we're in between combos. We're standing off to the side trying to help each other and figure out like what's happening. And
hi, everyone. So I wanted to tell you about my new book, The Tracy in LA Newsletters 2010. This is my very first memoir. There will be more. It's not like a normal memoir where you're looking back on your life and reflecting on it and writing a book about it. It's more like a memoir in real time. So basically, when I very first moved to LA to pursue acting, which was in 2009, I decided I was going to write these like monthly newsletters where I sent out actual letters in the actual mail to a bunch of my friends every month to give them updates on what I was doing with acting and jobs and friendships and all kinds of things that I was going through my very first time ever living in LA. It ended up being pretty humorous, and so I've basically gone back and edited them so that I could publish them as a book. So that's what this is, and yeah, if you want to be entertained and have a good laugh, buy my book, or if you just want to help me pay my rent next month. Oh, and you can get it on Amazon. The Tracy in LA Newsletters 2010 by Tracy Nicole. Nicole is my middle name. Also, there's a link in my Instagram bio. You can get it paperback or on Kindle. Yeah, I love standing by the biggest room at Westside, my favorite room, Studio 6. It has a big garage door that a lot of times the teachers will open if it's a nice day, and oh my goodness, just get me by that door because I like to pretend like I'm doing ballet outside. I would never really want to do ballet outside because I want the Marley and everything, so I just like to feel the breeze and the sun.
Yeah, when it's nice out.
I mean, yeah, if it's like freezing, maybe that's not the best place to stand in the beginning, but yeah, I always love that side. So I tend to stand on the left side, and I just always... everyone who takes ballet probably knows this, but people just tend to like gravitate towards the same spot every time, even more so than a regular class. I think a regular like other type of dance class, people do that a little bit, but in ballet, especially when you're new to a ballet class, you sort of, I never want to like take someone's bar spot. Oh, this is the spot they always stand, you know, people just get really...
Or if you like are running late for a class that you don't normally run late for, and then you got to figure out a new spot because somebody's standing in your spot. It's like, whoa.
You're like, oh my gosh, where do I go now? I know. Today I told myself, just go wherever. It's going to be fine. I have to like calm my brain down if I don't get the spot I normally am in. But I was actually kind of early for myself. There was a lot of people already in there, but for me, I was like, I'm 10 minutes early today. This is awesome. Nice. So I got my usual spot. It was great. So it's Sunday today. We were supposed to take James, who I haven't taken James in a while, but I used to take him sometimes. Even though I mostly took Jason's, I would sometimes take James, and I love James as well. But he had a sub today who was Natalia. I don't know how to say her last name, but it starts with a V, and it might be Velarde or Villard or something like that. But I've heard really good things about her. And Pauline was like, oh, just so you know, there's a sub today, but she's awesome. And I was like, oh yeah, Natalia, I've heard good things, but I've never taken her. Well, we took her today, and wow. That was so good.
I always take like a laundry list of not so much corrections. I mean, they are corrections, but like things to watch for, things to notice in my body when I take her class. And I'm really slow at learning stuff in my body. But then like a few weeks later, I'll notice in another class, it's like, oh, this was the thing that Natalia was talking about. And because she's very specific about corrections, and like even the way she started class today, which was like really slow pliés. It was like really slow pliés. So you cannot cheat on working those turnout muscles, which I know for me, as somebody who did not grow up dancing, it can be really hard to remember to use those muscles. And so, yeah. And the whole class was like that. It was like, it felt really like building foundations for different kinds of movements. Even the way she was doing the pirouette combo, like getting yourself on your leg and stuff. She's so good.
It's so good. It was
just
hard.
Beautiful to watch her, like, her beautiful feet and her extension and the way she used her body is just so inspiring.
I know. I wanted to see her do more because she just kind of had regular shoes on, or
she had like dance sneakers or something.
Dance sneakers, and she wasn't doing everything full out because professional dancers, like, they need to save their feet and everything. But I could tell she's a beautiful dancer, even though I didn't get to see a lot of full out things. But she was so good at explaining stuff, and the way she broke things down, it wasn't like boring. It was slow, but it was hard, and you could really feel the muscles. And I agree, because I also didn't grow up dancing when I was a kid, and so it is hard to remember to use the turnout muscles and even pointing your feet and things like that. I have to really use like an extra part of my brain to think about that, because it's not something that comes naturally, because I just have muscle memory of like always doing that. I don't have that. So, it was really, really good. Like you were saying, the pirouette combination, it's like plie, then releve, plie, then retire, plie, then turn. So it's just like practicing getting on your leg. And the way she did that one center combo where we had to do a pirouette and then we didn't bring the foot down. We just were supposed to balance on flat, but we were supposed to balance and then extend the leg that was up, the working leg. And even someone in class like asked to make sure. They were like, wait, so does the foot come down to the front or the back? And Natalia was like, no, the foot doesn't come down. So it was like slow, but like hard. Yeah. Wasn't easy. Yeah. And so I just absolutely loved it. Oh my gosh, I felt like I grew so much just from taking that 1 hour and a half class, and I can see why people love her. And I guess she teaches a regular class on Tuesday nights. Is that right? Do you know?
I'm not sure what day it is, but she does have regular classes through the week.
Okay. I think my friend takes her regularly, and she was telling me after class, and I think she said it's Tuesday nights, but she does have a regular class. I believe it is the same level, beginning 1, but beginning in LA is not like really beginning. Westside does have intro classes, I think. So if you're really, really beginning, you could start there. But this is also a good class. A lot of people were asking questions, which was kind of like, I'm not used to that. But
for beginning.
Yeah, but it was good because I learned things from their questions. So I thought it was really, really great. It made me... whenever I go to a class like this, I'm just like, I want to take ballet
all the time,
day because I want to get really good. What I try to do is take something we did and then do it at home and practice on my own.
Good for you.
I mean, I try. Yeah. I'm not always consistent, but that's what I'm trying to do. 2026, let's go. Yeah. New Year's resolutions, like really work on things I want to grow. But that was just amazing. So I'm so glad that we took that class. But we're kind of going all over the place with the order of what we're talking about. But I was going to also say that Pauline and I got to know each other more because we went to we saw one of Chasen Greenwood's shows, or when his company was performing in a show. I think there was a bunch of companies performing. I don't even remember what that event was.
Yeah, I think that was a selection of companies.
It was a while ago, but Pauline and I ended up sitting next to each other, and like I heard her story back then, and I remember thinking, oh, that's so interesting, and I was so engaged in the conversation, and I thought that she should be on the podcast, and then I don't remember what happened. I stopped taking ballet here, or I don't know why it's taken this long to get Pauline on the podcast. We like talk online a lot, but I don't really see her in person as much anymore.
Yeah.
So it's very exciting to get to actually take class with you, actually see you, and hear your story again, because I remember loving it, but I don't remember it. So I was like, great, we can all learn it on the podcast. So yeah, so that's kind of how we know each other. That's what we did today. But I first want to ask you, Pauline, what does your current dance life look like? What does it incorporate? Is it mostly just classes right now?
Yeah, so I take 2 classes a week, the Sunday morning with James, usually with James, and the Wednesday night, which is usually Chasen. So the Wednesday night Chasen is an intermediate advanced, which is challenging for me. I'm very slow at picking up choreography. Like that part of my brain just isn't particularly quick. So, but it's a good challenge, and because it's Chasen and he has a very regular set of things that he does, which is nice for somebody like me to do. So then I know what's coming. And yeah, just mentally, it's a good challenge. I'm like trying to get better at picking up choreography fast. Right now, like usually I can figure out going to the right and then to the left. It just all falls apart. So
I can relate to that for sure.
So that's my dance life right now. Is a couple classes a week. Between Christmas and New Year, I was off of work and I was in town. I think I took like 4 class a day for like 5 days.
Nice.
So which was so nice because
wait, you took 4 classes each day?
No, 4 classes class every day for like.
Okay,
like, over
that's
the
what
course
I thought
of,
at first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like over the course of 5 days, I took a class every day, and I was able to come at like the mid-morning class, and I took David Protus, and I had. I think there was a Tigran class. I'd never had him before.
Oh yeah, what did you think of Tigran? I've heard really good things, but I've never taken him.
It was great.
Okay.
He's very musical and dancey. It was really fun.
What level was that?
It was probably a beginning 1 or 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was great to be able to do like a class every day, but to do that while you're working full time is challenging.
Yeah.
It's just challenging. So, so that's where I am.
I can relate to. I recently took a class. I think it was a hip hop class, but they were teaching us choreography, and the beginning of the combo, we did all these moves kind of to the right, like leaning to the right, using the right foot, and then he was like, okay, the second part of the combo is the same thing reversed on the left. And oh my gosh, everybody's brains. It's like, if it was completely different choreo right after it, it would have been easier. But the fact that it was the same but different, that really challenges my brain. I'm like, I need it to be completely different. When it's like the same, but now it's this leg instead of this leg, and now it's that really challenges my brain. But I will say that I've gotten better at picking up choreo from taking all these non-ballet classes, because I feel like ballet isn't usually the place. I mean, you can definitely get better at picking up ballet combos by continuing to take ballet, but ballet isn't really known as a class where your, choreo retention is not the main focus. It's more technique, which is why it's amazing. But I think because I take so many other classes where it's about choreo retention and picking up a lot of different combinations and things, that part of my brain works a little bit better. So I tend to be able to pick up the combos kind of fast, but then the technique and doing them well, that's what I'm not taking a lot of ballet right now. So I want to be. And Los Angeles Ballet does 2 free Sundays of classes a month.
Awesome.
So if you ever wanted extra class or even to go to another class after this one, because it's on Sundays and it's nearby, it's on the west side, but they do all different levels. They have beginner adult, they have intermediate adult. I started out with beginner, and now I I've recently switched to intermediate, which I love. They overlap. Otherwise, I would go to both. But they do They have 2 studios there, so they have different classes going on all day. They have kids classes, free Pilates. Everything's free.
That's awesome.
So yeah, if anyone's interested, Westside Ballet is amazing. Such a good studio. So many good beginner and advanced classes, but it is currently $25 a class. I think you can do like a class pack and get it a little cheaper. But then Los Angeles Ballet also does.
That's awesome.
Completely free classes. And they used to do 1 Sunday a month. Now they're doing 2 Sundays a month. It's every other Sunday. I asked them, I'm like, wow, you guys are doing 2 Sundays a month now. Like, what? I just keep feeling like God just keeps giving me free classes. And I'm like, how is this happening? And so I was just so curious. I was like, why are you guys doing 2 Sundays a month now? And they're like, oh, we just like got another grant, or we had a larger grant. Great. And so we're just doing this. I'm like, that's so nice. I mean, I'm sure a grant could go to something else. I don't know if there's, rules about what they're using it for, but that just felt really generous to me. And the teachers are so passionate, and they're all a part of Los Angeles Ballet. They're in the company who teach there, so they have different ones every time, but they're all really, really good. So anyway, those are all like options you can do, but yeah, I can definitely relate. And for me, ballet, just like the center, when you get into the center, I feel like I'm killing it on bar, and then we get into the center and I'm like, wow, my balance needs
realize
some
you're
work.
not on your leg at all.
Oh my gosh, and Natalia did frappes in the center,
God.
and then there's different styles of doing frappes. So then, and Natalia's like, just do whatever you were trained in, and I'm over here like, I mean, originally I took ballet in Pasadena from Catherine Round, who is a great ballet teacher, and she does Vaganova. And so originally I did learn frappes that way, where you don't like smack the ground. You just, which actually I think is easier in my mind, just because I'm always like stubbing my toe when I'm doing the frappe. I don't know how to do it the right way. I'll be like, ow, I just hit my toe. So that was Vaganova technique, but then I started taking class more at Westside, and I started doing it where you do hit the ground. And then I was taking ballet at Athletic Garage in Pasadena, and they do it that way too. So when she's like, what you were trained in, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I'll just do whatever I'm in the mood for right now. So the one where you hit the ground is more challenging for me, so I was trying to do that today because I like the way Natalia slowed it down. Because I don't do frappes a lot. I was like, oh, good. I can really focus on like just holding my foot the right way. And yeah, it's not just like so fast. And even Petit Battement, I was doing it extra slow. It was supposed to be fast, but I'm like, I don't want to just move my foot and be crazy. Like I want to know what I'm doing. So
I think Petit Battement is definitely one that you can, because it's really just like fill up the counts, right?
Right.
You can do it at the pace that makes the most sense to you.
Yes.
So that you're understanding the movement, right? Because it's really really easy to just be flailing your leg all over the place, and like you're not learning anything that way. So I think that's one where like I mean, back in the day, I think teachers that I had would start with like a really slow count of Petit Battement, and then like 4 really slow, and then speed it up.
Oh, okay.
So
that sounds good.
I think that's smart.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think I could have done it faster if I wanted to. So smart, and also that was what I was capable of. So it was good, though. I like to get to practice that. I just love ballet so much. Like, I don't know if people know how much I love ballet, but it's just, I know you love ballet because that is what you always take, but I know I take other things, but I really love ballet. And that I started out taking ballet only because I wanted a better foundation for the other type of classes I was taking. I actually never desired to take ballet. I just thought it would probably be good for me. And I finally had found a good beginner class, because before the pandemic, or when I first started dancing, I tried a beginner class at Edge. Did you ever hear of that studio?
I have, I had. And I heard it was really like a lot of pros and semi-pros went there.
Yeah, it was a really professional studio, but they also had a lot of beginner classes. And most of the beginner classes, I felt like they were, I mean, it was LA beginner, so it wasn't, like super beginner, but it was beginner enough where if you just came back enough, you would be able to grow. Right. But for some reason, the ballet ones, when I first started, later on when I was there, they did get some beginner ballet that I felt like I could do. But when I first started there, I tried the beginner ballet. I don't remember who this teacher was, but I only took it a couple times because it did not, it felt so advanced. And the type of corrections she was giving to people, it was like 12 corrections. And I'm like, I need to think about one correction at a time because I'm so new and I've never heard of these things. And it was still kind of expected that you had ballet experience in that class, which is understandable. There's a lot of beginner classes like that. Even the one we took today is kind of like that. But I finally found a class that was for people totally new to ballet, which was Catherine Round in Pasadena, which I do recommend if you've never taken ballet, or even if you're advanced. She has advanced classes that are really good too. But she really starts you out and teaches you everything as if you've never even heard the word ballet before. And that really gave me a good foundation to where I was able to advance with her, and I was able to take other classes everywhere else. But what's crazy is I only took that to try to get better at like jazz and other things I was doing, because I never really thought ballet was interesting. Like I never wanted to do it. But
now look at you.
And then what's crazy, my first class with Catherine Round, in the beginning, on the first day of it, she was like, I can't wait to get you all addicted to ballet or obsessed with ballet. And I was like, I don't like ballet. I'm just here because I'm trying to get better at my other dancing. And wow, by the end of that, like all the weekly sessions, because it was a type of thing where you signed up through actually Pasadena City College in the beginning. She does have her own studio, but it's that's a way she kind of gets new people. And so you signed up for 8 weeks or whatever it was. Oh man, when that was over, I was loving it so much. I was like, oh, I have to keep going. I have to go to the next level. I have to, And so it worked. I did get obsessed. I love it. Now I just love it on its own. If someone was like, you can't do any other dance except ballet the rest of your life, I wouldn't be that mad. I'd be like, okay, sounds good. So anyway, but we want to hear your story. I want to hear how you got started in dance, because I know you told me a long time ago, but I don't remember. So I know you didn't start as a little kid.
I did not do dance at all. I mean, my sister and I did 1 year, I think, of ballet, because there is a picture of me, one of those studio pictures where you're, I think I was in a tendu croisé pose in like a white leotard with like those little tutu thing.
Yeah.
And looking at that picture now, I can see like there would have been no hope for me as a dancer. Like just I can just look at it and be like my knees are don't straighten that kid is better as a recreational adult dancer. But anyway, so we just had that one class. I grew up taking piano lessons as a kid.
Okay.
We did piano lessons.
Nice. I love piano. I love hearing piano. I can't do it.
And so one of the things like with ballet is at Westside, all the classes have a pianist pretty much, I think. And I love that. The pianists are all
it's
fantastic.
really cool.
So, but so when I was younger, my aunt took ballet as an adult. And she also didn't take ballet as a kid either. She never had the opportunity. But so she lives up in the Bay Area. So we would hear about her taking these classes.
And did you grow up out here in
I grew up
Southern
in
California?
Toronto, Canada,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Yeah. So, it was interesting. Once I moved to LA, I would see my extended family in Northern. I have a lot of aunts and uncles and cousins up in the Bay Area.
Okay.
And I would hear about my aunt taking these classes. So that was just one of those things like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then my sister moved up there as well, and then she started taking classes at the same studio that my aunt took classes from. But it sort of never occurred to me to find classes for myself. Like I don't know why, it just never occurred to me. But so I'm younger, and I at that age where you go to parties, and sometimes parties last until 2 or 3 in the morning. Those kind of, and so I had recently started hanging out with this woman who I met through work, and she had told me about this party. So I went to this party with her, where she was, and it was, I don't even remember anything about the party. It was like somebody that she knew anyway. And so it was like 2 or 3, it was like really early in the morning, and everybody's just hanging out, like just sitting around. And she says, so I think this was a Saturday night, because she said she's going to a ballet class the next morning at 9. And I'm like, first of all, I am not a morning person. Like never in my entire life have I ever been a morning person. But she said it's in Santa Monica. She's going to this class, and it sort of like occurred to me, it's like, oh, do you mind if I meet you there? And so...
And you hadn't taken a dance class in a really long time.
Since I was like 5 or whatever.
Okay.
And so she was like, oh, yeah. So I meet her here. She tells me where it is. It's right here. It was May, who still teaches here.
Oh, yeah.
She's fantastic. So I show up at 9 in the morning, an ungodly hour of 9 in the morning, after being up all night. But I was young, and so, and I just took a class. And from that day on, I have never stopped taking class.
Wow.
But what's interesting is that woman, I never saw her in class again.
Oh, yeah. I remember you telling me this now.
And I lost
funny.
touch with her because, we really weren't that compatible as friends. And so I always think, she was basically dropped into my life to introduce me to ballet, and then she did her job, and then she booked it. It's such a weird. So, and then the other thing is, I don't know if you find this as well. I'm not particularly extroverted. Although I'm better at it now that I'm older. When I was younger, I wouldn't necessarily start talking to strangers, but for some reason you just sort of find 5 minutes here or there in class, you start chatting with people. And so some of my favorite people are friends I've met through ballet. So on the Sunday class, there's a group of us that come to class all the time. We have coffee after class.
Oh, are you missing your coffee right now?
I am missing my coffee, but that's
Sorry.
okay. No, that's okay. So, there's some great adults who take class. Some of them are like me, never having done ballet before. Some of them did as a kid. And you can always tell somebody did ballet growing up because you can see the way they move. They sort of carry that with them into their adulthood.
Yeah.
Even if all they do now is recreational.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, in that way, I feel like it changed my life because, the other thing about doing ballet as an adult, if you're not athletically inclined like I am not, it's kind of humbling and a little bit embarrassing because you do this thing that you think that you're supposed to be doing. The teacher does a thing and then you do that thing and then you see yourself in the mirror and you're like, ooh, that's not what the teacher looked like when they were doing it. You sort of have to get used to, and there's a mirror, the entire front of the room is a mirror.
Yeah.
You have to kind of get used to getting comfortable with you being in the mirror.
Yeah.
Either you're looking at yourself in the mirror or you're finding ways to just look past yourself in the mirror. But the mirror is actually important because you don't know what you're doing wrong until you see yourself, right?
Yeah.
And the teacher can't be fixing everybody. So, to some extent, I think that it got me a lot more comfortable with being uncomfortable.
That's so true, yeah.
Being a new learner of something as an adult, because I think that's one of the things that we stop doing as adults is we stop learning new things. If you watch little kids, they have no issues with being bad at whatever they're learning.
Right.
That's the whole point of what they do, right, for little kids. But adults, after a while, you sort of narrow your areas of interest to the things that you're good at, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's natural. It's natural to not want, I suck at this, why would I do it again? So when you find something like ballet, which you can still love and still be not great at it, but you love it enough to want to get better.
Yeah.
And so I think that's helped me a lot in just being a lot more comfortable in uncomfortable situations. It's also helped me to be more open about, if I'm in a situation at work, for instance, where I just have to speak.
Yeah.
Not because speaking in front of people is the same as dancing in front of people, but if I can dance in front of people at something I'm not great at, speaking, not an issue, right? It's so that part of ballet class or taking any class like this, but doing something in an area where I'm never going to be one of those people that people are going to oh, she's really good. And that's okay. But it's also added to my life that I'm doing something that I'm only going to be so-so at. I can get better than what I was, but I'm never going to be what I want to be. Mm-hmm. I'm limited by certain restrictions in my body. But that's okay. And I think that that's a great lesson to have, in my life, it's been a great lesson to have.
Yeah. Well, you never know. But also you could be someone's like, oh, wow, look at how good Pauline is getting. I've noticed myself, I'll notice people that maybe, like you said, there are certain people that sometimes you can just tell that they've been training their whole life and you're inspired by them. Mm-hmm. They're one of the ones you watch, you're trying to get better. But there's also people that you might know that they started later or whatever, but you continuously take class with them, and then you
can see them get better.
Oh wow, they're getting good. And
that.
sometimes that's inspiring because you think, oh, I don't know if I'll ever be able to do this thing. And then you see someone else grow and get better and be able to do that thing. And you're like, wait, maybe I can, even though I haven't been training since I was 3.
Yeah.
So
totally.
Yeah. But I do like what you're saying. I really am a big advocate for, like, you can do something and work at something and get better, even if you're not going to ever be the number one in the world at that thing. Because I feel like our society and culture is very American Idol, you know, like, if you're not the very best, what are you doing in this genre? What are you doing in this activity? And it's like, well, there can't even be a best if there's not other people.
Because you love it. You can just do it because you love it.
Yeah. And you don't even know what opportunities could open in different ways. It could be a unique opportunity that opens because you love dance and you're doing it and getting better and growing, and also the community you meet. And I like what you said about how you just have 5 minutes here or there where you're kind of chatting with people. When I first started dance, I was going through a rough time in my life in general, personally. And so I wasn't in a mode where I wanted to be talking to people all the time. And so I started to get more committed to dance. It was just because I realized I love dance. It wasn't for any other reason. But what I saw happening was, oh, those tiny amounts of talking to people was like just enough. That's just enough. Like, most people know I'm pretty involved in church, but if you go to a new church group, you're like, oh, I want to try out this church group, which is an awesome thing to do. But everyone's like chatting and they want to talk to you, and like you will get to know people's whole life story within like 2 weeks, because that's how much you talk at a church group, usually. The good ones, because they want to get to know you and they're being nice. But I remember doing that during that season too, and just being like, I mean, I wanted to go to church and everything, but that type of group was like too much for me. I didn't want to get to know people that much and have people like enter my life that deeply, like so quickly, because of just the season I was in. That just felt like scary to me. And so I found a different church that was a little bit less like that, is what happened. And then I also found dance and was like, oh, these small amounts of just saying hi or bye to someone you see every time were starting to become more like, oh, now I know a little bit more about this life, this person's life, because we talked a little. But you don't have time to talk in class, so you're not focusing on relationships. But it's cool how just like once you come consistent for a while, you do end up making a friend and making a bunch of friends, sometimes a whole community, especially if you're consistent. So there's so much to say for being consistent with dance, because not only will you grow and your friends will watch you grow, so you can all encourage each other, but also you're just making friends in general, which is so nice, you know. So, and you have a similar passion. But you never did you ever do any kind of sport? Or, well, you did piano your whole life. Is that your main thing you did?
No real sport. I'm not particularly coordinated that way.
Okay.
My family, the company that my dad worked at owned, in Toronto, they owned some property that had golf courses and tennis courts. So my parents were really into golf and tennis.
Okay.
I have terrible hand-eye coordination, so, you know, I think, like, we would do golf, and I think it was like a 9-hole golf. It wasn't a full 18. And literally, like, it would take 10 strokes to get anywhere near the green.
Yes, that's
but,
hilarious.
you know, you're outside, and you're just, like, whacking away at this ball. And it's, like, low-key, you know. Or they would do tennis, and tennis is a little harder to like sort of be casual about, because if you don't have hand-eye coordination,
you'll get hit in the face.
Then like you never have any good rallies.
Right.
So that's more frustrating. But like nothing serious, no team sports, none of that stuff. My parents really emphasized brain stuff, and I think for them they felt like playing a musical instrument was more brain stuff. I think, whereas in reality, something like dance, and I'm sure this applies to other physical activities, there's a lot of brain stuff, you know, learning choreography, learning how to connect your intentions, your movement intentions with your body. There's things like that is really useful, and super useful as an older adult, because it's really easy to just get really stagnant, you know. So I love that. Learning piano can be very frustrating too. There's a lot. It can be very boring, but I'm so glad I did piano lessons because I appreciate music in a different way because I understand certain things about it more than if I was just a casual listener. And so that part of dance I've had to figure out as an adult, and it's just slower. But when you take ballet and then you watch ballet, I think you see things in a different way.
Yeah.
Because I know when my friends and I go see a ballet, now the flashy moves, of course they're impressive. We love seeing that. But then they'll be doing like some of the transition moves beautifully. And those are the ones with like, oh my God, that's so hard. Those kind of things. But, so it also helps to better appreciate watching the professionals do what they do.
Oh, definitely. I know. I think about it when I'm posting on social media and stuff. If any of my friends who aren't dancers like watch things, and they might think that something looks easy, or they might think that you're not that great, which I'm not. But also the people that really take dance with you and like they know how hard certain things are. So that's why it's fun to have so many dance friends online who all understand like where you're at, how you've grown, which things you're getting better at, versus just the general public that's like, how come you're not as amazing as like the people I see on TV on this show? And you're like, because
that's not the point.
I learned this in 45 minutes. It wasn't a show, and then with ballet, I mean, there's not a lot of posting of things online for ballet as much, but I know, because you don't have, I'm like, that's the thing about ballet is it's a little more, I feel like it's a little more hidden in that way where you're not learning big dances every class. And so I think it's cool though. It's like it's just a subtle, consistent way to be building your technique. But you have done the Westside Adult Showcase, right?
Yeah, I did that for a couple of years. And it's such a fabulous opportunity to... our teachers are always talking about how we present ourselves, right? It doesn't matter what steps you're doing. They're always talking about how to present ourselves. And then to have an opportunity to actually perform something with an audience, it really crystallizes the idea that the dance is this kind of dance is a performance art.
Yeah.
And you need to be performing from the very moment the bars start, part of the class starts,
Yeah.
And I don't think you really, for me, I didn't really understand that until I've done performance stuff. And so I did a couple of years of the showcase.
And the Westside Ballet, where we took ballet today, which we keep talking about, where Pauline takes every week, they do, is it once a year?
Yeah. So it's, the show is usually the first Saturday in August.
Okay.
And so for the 2 months leading up to that, there's weekly rehearsals.
Is it only for 2 months? Why did I think it was longer?
I know.
Than that?
It seems like...
It's pretty fast, actually.
So there's several teachers who are choreographing pieces. And so you get to pick which teachers you want to take from. And they usually have, leading up to the official rehearsal, they usually have a few weeks of sample classes. And so they'll have different teachers that are choreographing, teach like a 45-minute class or whatever, so just so you have an idea. They also have, like, Jenny does a jazz piece.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're a jazz dancer, she does that. Her pieces are always fabulous. Last year they had a ballroom dance teacher choreograph something. And the ballet instructors also have, like, there's usually one that's a very, like, a group village or scene kind of dance. So one year was Giselle. Last year was from Swan Lake, so that's a very like classic ballet group piece. But there's other choreographers who are doing some brand new, like nothing, brand new things on the students.
That's so cool.
And they can vary from more classical to more contemporary depending on the teacher. And so you're literally having somebody build a piece on you and your fellow dancers, and that's a really cool experience because. And I imagine all the teachers have different ways of doing it, but you can sort of see it starting in one way and then adjusting, and they have to adapt to whoever's in the room as well. And, over the course of the 8 weeks, there are people who are missing a couple of weeks because they're on vacation.
Yeah.
Because, they have to adjust to adult schedules. So it's just fabulous. This year, they're actually going to be performing at the Broad stage.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so
which
cool.
will be fantastic. And
I've never been inside there, but that sounds
it's a great
really
facility.
cool, like a cool experience. Are you going to do it this year?
I'm not. I'm actually, I already know that I have other plans on the day of the show.
Oh, okay.
So last year, I did 2 years of this, and I realized that for the entire rehearsal period, I spent a lot of time like worrying about injuring myself.
Oh.
And a lot of it was because I've had old injuries, and so those parts of my body are just permanently weaker. And also because I have physical limitations, just like nothing wrong, but because I have a normal human body, I don't have a dance body, there are certain things that are just challenging for me and can create problems over the long term. It's a lot of work, but I realized it was like I got what I wanted to get out of it, and it was a little bit stressful. The rehearsal part of it, even though I loved it, it was a little bit stressful. So I actually volunteered with the costume committee.
Oh, cool.
So I don't do any of the creative stuff, but I was sort of a liaison with the choreographers, with Addie and Mary Jo, who are on the production side, and also helping keep track of all of the information that needed to be kept track for the costumes. So my real job is as a project manager for commercial interior construction.
I remember us kind of connecting over that because
Yeah.
my old job was kind of, well, it was in sales and customer service, but it was for like interior design and fabric, and we worked with like construction companies. And
so, organizing information is part of my regular job, and so I did that for the costume committee. And it was really fun to see the ideas that were coming in and try to organize things. And I got my face in front of a lot of the fellow students who I wouldn't normally see because they take different classes than me, but they all figured out, like, there's plenty of people who know who I am now because I was emailing them to get us information about their sizes or all that stuff. So yeah, it's a great group of people. We have regular dancers who come and do the show every year. We have all different levels. There's people who are just starting. There's people who've been dancing for a while. The teachers are fantastic at finding your place.
Yes.
I mean, I was always the person, first of all, I'm kind of on the tall side. I was always one of the people in the back of the room in the group. I was never going to be like a soloist and that's totally cool. You still get the experience out of it. And then it's really cool to see your fellow dancers get their little moment in the sun and stuff. So
they really do a great job. I haven't participated in it yet. It does cost something. There's some sort of money involved, but it's a really good experience, and I've seen it. I've seen the show, and it is really great how, because I did know a lot of the dancers that were in it, and everyone is a little bit at different levels. Everyone's passionate about it, working hard, but everyone is at different levels. But the way the teachers and the choreographers come in and, do the choreography in a way where everyone is shining.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought the show was so well done, so good. It did make me want to do it, but
I hope you can someday.
I know. I hope I would do it at some point.
It's such a great experience.
But even just recently, I've been performing a little bit more with LA Unbound, which is a little bit of a different thing. But the rehearsals are like 4 months for LA Unbound, which is, I used to think that was so long, but now I'm like, because I thought, you take a dance class, you learn choreography, you're almost ready to perform it within 2 classes, because we do that in class. We have professional video people come in, but I didn't realize that performing, there's so much more to it than just learning choreo. It's like just the formations and doing things with other people. And then for ballet, I mean, I would feel like that needs even extra rehearsal just because ballet is so focused on technique. So you're not just memorizing a combination, you're also really having to work at really good techniques so that it looks pretty with everybody and everyone's looking the same or complementing each other anyways. So I was just so impressed when I saw my friends up there doing that. I was like, oh my gosh,
the show
I
is
could
always
do that.
so great.
So
much
great.
Fun. And it's such a great audience too, because it's everybody's friends and family.
Yeah.
And so the audience is so enthusiastic, and it's just so great to be able to celebrate the adult community that way. And then I also have to say the teacher choreographers devote part of their summer to this.
Yeah.
And they do a fantastic job. They pick great music and put together great choreography, and It's such a fantastic thing that they're doing and continuing to do, and building on the success year after year and learning from past years and getting better and better. It's a testament to the strength of the people behind the scenes at Westside, that they have a lot of support in putting something like this together, because it does take a lot of volunteer hours to keep this whole engine running. And the amount of time that the stage crew has to put in that's like a whole nother thing. I only got a glimpse of it, but there's a whole nother set of it, with staging. And there's usually, like, the day before the show, there's a tech rehearsal, so they got to figure out what the lighting is, and there's different colors of light and how the run of the show is going to go. They usually also have in studio rehearsals where all the pieces run in the order of the show, so they can sort of get the timing of it. And then they do one that's just in whatever your regular leotard. They do one where you have to change your leotard so they can figure out the timing of costume changes.
Yeah.
There's so much involved, but
how many times would you say you got to, like, I know it was at a different venue before, but did you practice on that stage like only one time, or
yeah,
more than
we
that?
had it's been a couple of years now, but I think what happened is we did tech rehearsals, which is each piece, first you set the lighting and then you run through the piece and make sure the sound is working and everything.
Right.
And then there's an opportunity to do the whole thing. So we didn't actually have a lot of time. What they're getting better at is understanding the proportions, and so we're going to have to do it again because the proportions of the stage at the Broad is going to be different from where it was before.
Yeah.
But they would map out these proportions in the big studio, Studio 6. So you kind of have an idea of the proportions.
Right.
But once you get there, unlike the studio, there's the stage, and then there's just this blackness out in front of you, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of a whole different thing altogether. So there is not a lot of time to figure it out on the stage.
Oh, yeah. I know. That's what I learned from my recent performing experience, which is just this past year, was the first time. Yeah, just being on a stage and looking out into either faces or bright lights or darkness. That's just something you're not used to. Like, you're used to literally looking at yourself in a mirror. Some teachers are good about in class having you not face the mirror sometimes, but that is kind of rare. Most of the time you're literally facing the mirror the whole time. So when you're going just in front of people, it's like a new thing. It's like, wait, I'm not performing for literally myself in the mirror. This is crazy.
And then, like, in the show, it's like, oh, there's my friends.
Yeah. I remember when I used to do acting a long time ago, and I did some theater in LA, and I remember my friends came to one of my shows or one of my plays, and it was hard. Like, I was in this dramatic scene, and one of my friends that was watching from the front row told me later that he thought, like, it looked like I was gonna laugh like the whole time. I was like, oh no. But it is like, it does kind of pull you out. It's a skill to learn how to not be pulled out when you're like seeing your friends right there. And I mean, this was a long time ago, and I would hope that like I could do that now. But yeah, I almost have to like just not look at their faces, or it's almost easier if it's just a bigger venue. So it just kind of is a blur. Because like when they're right there, it's like, I remember I saw one of my friends who's a professional dancer in one of her shows, and I was just in the front row. And I remember thinking, if I was her, I would not like this. But she's so professional. She can handle it. She's fine. Yeah. But at some points, she was sitting like right in front of me, and because they had like these stools for this one part, and I'm just staring at her. I'm like, wow, she's so professional. She can just stay in it, and I'm like right here. But that's a skill. Yeah, there's just so many things, and I totally relate about how there's just some stress. Like, it's fun. I really do want to get better at performing and do more experiences like that, but there is just like a level of stress. It comes with joy because there's so much fun to like do the rehearsals, be with your friends, all be working hard towards something and to perform for people. But it's a different level of stress than just like taking a class. Yeah. Taking a class, I mean, there's almost no stress. It's like you can mess things up and who cares? No one cares. But I don't ever want to mess something up on stage. So when I'm practicing for a show, I'm practicing every day at home too. So I really need to, and maybe that's not what everybody does, but I felt like that was necessary for me because I'm still kind of new at it. So that just takes a lot of time. So you really have to consider if this is what you're going to do. But that's so nice of you that you are even just volunteering in a different way because you do have a full-time job. Yeah. So that's really nice that you believe in it enough to be like, you know what, I'm not going to dance this time, but I do want to like help in some way and use my skills.
I mean, it was great because they were so appreciative of me organizing, this just whatever, which I was just, wasn't difficult for me.
Yeah.
Which it was a great reminder because at my regular job, they just sort of expect me to just do this. Nobody says anything. So it was just like, oh, I guess I do, I do
I am good at this. No, that's so true. I mean, they always say you could be really good at something, and in the beginning, people are like praising you and thanking you. But then once you do it for long enough, even if you're still really good, even if you've actually gotten better because now you have all this experience, everyone's just used to you by then. So you're not getting that praise, that recognition, those thank yous. And sometimes it can be a little like wearing yeah, we're just doing our job, but it can be nice to remember that we're talented at it or just get a little bit of encouragement. So I'm glad you got to experience that by using your talent for people that don't have that talent or aren't always around you. And they're like, wow, you've really helped us. So that's a good.
And I love seeing like the whole, it's sort of like the behind the scenes aspect of it, which is great. I don't have any experience in anything to do with like performance. So that part was fun. It's great people too. If it wasn't great people, then it would obviously be frustrating.
Yeah.
But great people, so it's all good.
Would you say that the ballet community at Westside is like one of your main communities of friends and things, or do you feel like you also have like your other groups?
Yeah, I do have other friends that I've met through work primarily, but. Yeah, and in fact, there's a couple of people. There's at least one person who I've met here, who lives like within a mile of me.
Oh, nice.
So so it's very convenient to have people live near you in order to hang out. But yeah, it's nice because my folks that I know through work, we have that similarity. People I met through dance, the only thing that connects us is the dance part of it. Everybody's got different backgrounds otherwise, which makes it really interesting, So I like that. It allows for a little bit more unique blend of people,
it's like
which I think is good.
And that's what I noticed when I first got into dance in LA. It was just all the different types of people and backgrounds and what they're and even just doing this podcast, just all the different people who mostly just do dance and do all these odd jobs or don't even have odd jobs, they just are dancers, or people that have regular jobs and do dance, or people that mix it up in different kinds of ways. It's really interesting. Just everyone's connected by the common passion for dance, but there's different levels of that passion, there's different ways to do it, and that's just a good reminder to everyone, because you might think, well, I'm not going to focus on dance because I can never be really a dancer. But there's not really such thing as like a real dancer. It's just everyone can do it in different ways. Yeah. And whether you make your money from that or not, that's just like a choice. Yeah. Or it's also, if doors open in that way or not. But that doesn't mean you can't have a great life, like using your skills that you do at work, those skills that you also enjoy and are good at, and also using your dance skills and growing in that. It's just... you love it. It brings you joy. You meet people. It's awesome. And you do get chances to perform in things. Do you think that you will perform again sometime in the future? Or do you feel like, I don't really need to do it?
I don't feel like I need to do it anymore. I wouldn't want to write it off completely. Okay. Because you just never know.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was a great opportunity. Previous to these shows, I also went to an adult intensive. So, God, it's probably been 8 or 10 years since I did that. And there was a end of week show for that as well.
Oh, okay.
Now, the difference is that it wasn't a paying audience. The only audience was, they would tape it for us. The only audience was other people in the who went to the intensive. Occasionally there would be friends and family from people who live nearby, but that was about it. But it was on a real stage and stuff like that. So that was also that would be sort of the first time I ever did like a show. But the Westside one is there's like people in the audience who've paid some money,
right?
So that was different as well. So
where the other one was that in LA?
It was it started in Richmond, Virginia. It's no longer happening anymore, but she started it in Richmond, Virginia, and then over the course of the years that I went there with my friends, there was an offshoot in Saratoga Springs, New York, which That's the location where New York City Ballet, I think, goes. They have a summer residency there or something. So there's it's horse racing and ballet there, which is an interesting combo. And then they also did an offshoot in Vancouver, Washington, which is close to Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
It's just across the border.
Yeah.
And so it was great because they would do a week of, in the morning you do a technique class, and then after that there would be some kind of specialty thing like point for the women or men's class or turns, and there would also be a variation class. So variation would be what you would perform if you chose to do that. And then in the afternoon, there was usually a repertory. So that's a group piece, again, also for performing. And then they also did partnering. So
nice.
Two classes of partnering. And the thing that was great about that is, as an adult, you never have an opportunity to know what partnering's like. Partnering is fantastic.
You liked it?
Oh my God, it's so much fun. They bring in dancers who are either college level students, so very professional, or actual professionals or semi-professionals. Okay. So these are men who have been partnering since however old they, and so they really know how to partner.
That's cool to get to learn partnering with an actual professional, because I think Westside does have a partnering class, or they used to.
They used to. I don't know if they still do.
Okay.
I don't know if they still do.
But I think in that case, both of the people are learning together. But how cool to get to be with someone that advanced who you can really trust.
And I remember, first of all, you're doing supported pirouettes with somebody, and you figure out how much they can help you. And I remember one thing that we did, this was part of the choreography for the show, was a waltz. And we all do waltz steps in class by yourself. But partnered waltz, it was a different kind of a thing. And as somebody who pretty much only does ballet as a dance, I don't really know how to be a partner, right?
Yeah.
And so this guy, basically, I think he was a dancer with the local professional company. He told me to lean back into his hand that was on my back. And then that gave him the ability to actually partner me across the floor doing a waltz. And it feels kind of like you're flying.
Yeah.
Lifted jumps, feeling like you're flying. The whole thing is just, and they're so gracious. These young men were just so gracious. And I would ask them, because, they're getting paid, but they're taking time out of their short summers.
Yeah.
And they were always like, you guys are so much fun to take. Yeah, so it was really great experience.
That sounds amazing.
There's a lot more adult intensive now than there used to be.
Okay.
Back then it was just that one, and so now I see them on Instagram all the time, and which is great, because the thing that's different for me taking this intensive was, we were talking earlier about Natalia, and she gave us some fantastic corrections and things to look for and watch in our bodies. And then the next class I take will be a few days from now, and it'll be a different teacher, and I'll have to remember what she said and apply it to this teacher. And as I mentioned before, I'm not great at remembering this kind of stuff. So, it's a very slow progression, whereas in an intensive, you take a technique class and you learn from, and there's a rotation of teachers, but you take a class and then you have something else. The next module is, maybe it's a slightly different thing. Maybe you're doing point or pirouettes, and it's a different teacher, but you're going to take that teacher again the next morning for technique, or the teacher you had for technique you're doing a repertory piece with. So they see you for a couple of days in a row, and you can really build on much faster what you've been learning, because you have so many opportunities. Even if, doing pirouettes is different from technique class, but it's essentially built on the same foundation, right? So you really can quickly start to get that into your body.
Yeah.
In a way that it's hard to just doing it recreationally.
Right.
The way we do
just
it.
an hour and a half, twice a week, an hour and a half.
Exactly.
Yeah. I did do a ballet intensive one time. It was just a weekend. It was 3 days, I think. but it was a lot of hours, and it was, I think, the same teacher for the whole thing, but it was variations, and then, we didn't do partnering, but most of those other things you said we did, and it was cool I remember, like, it was when I had my corporate job and I took off work to be able to, like, do all of the days, and it wasn't an exciting thing. I do think I got injured a little because
You do have to be careful.
I think I was going too hard, and, like, I wasn't used to doing that many hours of ballet and all of that. Yeah. So
that can happen.
But it was awesome. That's good to know that, you should. I mean, well, right now I'm probably not paying for that stuff, but down the road, I would love to do an intensive like that, and I would love to learn partnering. Yeah. Even the small amount of partnering I've done, not ballet, because I've really never done ballet partnering, but just other styles I've learned in the past. And when you're dancing with someone who's more advanced, who really knows what they're doing, it does feel like you're flying, and it's so exhilarating. And that was one of my first experiences with dance, was actually in college. I wasn't training in dance. Well, I was taking dance every once in a while back then, but like a hip hop class or something. But it was these guys, this group of people that were in the quad doing salsa dancing.
Oh, fun.
And I had never done that before. Me and my friends had never done that before. We were just walking from getting food or something, and we saw them. So we sat down and watched them because we were like, wow, they look so good. This is so cool. And then these guys just came up to us, these really good dancers, and they were like, do you guys want to dance? And we were like, we don't know how to do that. And they literally took 2 minutes to show us the very most basic step to do in that. And then they just each took us, and we were just flying.
That's awesome.
I don't even know what happened. I literally had a lesson that was 5 minutes long, and then I didn't have to do anything but that little step, and he just was like turning me and all these things. And I just remember we were doing that for a while. Like, we were out there for an hour or so.
Probably didn't even realize the time was
I don't even know, but we had the best night of our lives, totally unexpected, totally spontaneous. We got back to our apartment that was on campus, and I think it was me and my two friends, and we just like fell to the floor dramatically. We were like, this was the best night ever. And then awesome. We started taking salsa lessons. Like, I went to school outside of Chicago, so we started, like, going downtown and finding these, like, salsa, like, clubs and lessons. And we did find these guys. They weren't from that group, but we found people that wanted to go with us. But then we were all learning.
Which is a different story.
And it wasn't as fun. So we did it a few times, and it was like, okay, but I was like, there's a difference between like someone. But I mean, it's cool, I guess, if you can both, or if your group of people can grow together and then you're all getting better, for sure there's something to say for that. But to have someone that's advanced just like take you around, it's just like the coolest feeling. But I think I have two last questions for you, because this time is just flying. This always happens. But have you ever had any desire to take any sort of dance besides ballet, or you're just like, ballet is definitely it?
When I was at this intensive, they would usually have like a character class and a modern class. So those tended to be those two classes. And first of all, character is incredibly hard. But
what is character?
So that's like usually let's say in Nutcracker, like the Russian dance, or and like a lot of the classical ballets, they'll have if it's like the wedding scene, and they'll have the Hungarian dance and the Russian dance or the Spanish dance. Those are the character dances, and they're usually wearing like a slight heel shoe.
That is sort of like in musical theater. It's like character shoes and stuff. So it's kind of a little bit like that. So
character is ridiculously hard. But so the modern class, like the thing with modern is there's a lot of being on the floor and, rolling around on the floor. And I thought I remember feeling like it was so fun, but my body does not want to go down and up fast. Like I don't have that facility. And that's why, I thought it was so fun. And there's a freedom of movement in the classes I took that were amazing. Another example is jazz. Jenny did a quick 15-minute jazz sample as part of the lead up to the showcase one year, and I took that class, and again, so fun. But there was something, I can't remember if it was my hips or something, where it's like my body was just like, we're not built to do that.
Well, I took her class once, and I did feel like it was a little bit advanced, even though I think it was supposed to be
like an open,
beginner or open, I guess. But I mean, when jazz was kind of the first dance I ever learned, the first style. And I took I think it was called basic jazz. It was like before beginner, kind of like intro to ballet type of thing. And yeah, your body really has to get used to certain moves. So I would say if you ever did want to venture out to a different kind of dance, I think just finding a studio that has a really, really good beginner, because I think your body could learn. If you have no desire, then it doesn't matter. But if you wanted to, I think your body could learn some of those type of moves. Because with ballet, I'm sure in the beginning, maybe you don't remember at this point, but in the beginning, you probably felt like that about certain moves. I know when I first started taking ballet, the way my feet would cramp all the time, I was like, how do you keep pointing your toes? My feet just keep cramping.
Calves?
She'd have us hold it. And like she'd have us hold our leg and retrayer and keep pointing. And I'm like, I remember asking my teacher after class, like, my foot cramped, like I can't even keep it pointing, it just starts cramping. She's like, yeah, it's just because you're not used to it. But eventually, and she was right, like eventually the cramping stopped. And now sometimes I still get that cramping because I don't take ballet enough. But it's really just a matter of doing it more. But it's funny what you say about going to the floor and getting up, because actually when I very first started taking contemporary, it was during the pandemic, virtually through a New York studio. A world opened up to me with this New York studio that I found during the pandemic. I loved their virtual classes. I was obsessed. But I got really into contemporary, which I had never even taken before. And it was a beginner contemporary, but still there was going to the floor and getting up, and that wasn't something I did a lot of. I learned a little bit of that in my jazz class, but I remember being very clunky and just like making a lot of noise, which you're supposed to be more quiet, like graceful. And I remember when I actually ended up working privately with a teacher out of New York, which was just a crazy blessing that I had during that time. I had all this extra money because I was one of the fortunate ones that did not lose my job, and
But there was no other place to spend it on.
I couldn't go anywhere. I was saving so much money on gas because I didn't have to drive to work anymore. And then all of a sudden I had all these virtual classes I could do, and I was just going crazy with them. And then this one teacher I really liked, and I thought his schedule was changing. I wasn't going to be able to take it. So I asked him if we could do privates. Turned out he did virtual privates. Turned out his schedule still fit in mine anyways. And then I was doing privates and group, just everything. But anyways, I remember doing a private with him, and like we were working on a piece, and I was doing a part where I had to go to the floor and get up, and there was a certain way to do it. And he just made fun of me and was like, you look like a grandma. Like, you look crazy. We need to work on this.
That's how
it was so true.
It'd be like, okay, you have to get up in whatever the counts were, and it would take me twice as long.
I was there too, and so that's why I'm saying, you may not have the desire. I had a strong desire to learn contemporary, and I still obviously love contemporary, but it was something I had to work at and grow from basically zero. Like, I did not know what I was doing, and now it's funny because the current contemporary classes I take, I feel, I am one of the less advanced because it's a very advanced class. There are people that are extremely professional, acrobatic, contemporary dancers. They're so good. So I feel like, I'm just working so hard to even keep up with this class. But what's interesting is I'll take a different type of dance class, and there might be one or two floor moves versus my current class that has all floor moves practically. And I see that those little floor moves were so easy for me. And I see people in those classes who are advanced and very good dancers, but struggling with those little quick floor moves. But I'm like, but that's all I've been practicing for the past year. So it is interesting how you sometimes don't see the progress when you're around the same people in the same class. But it's kind of like you using your work skill in a different environment, and you're like, oh wait, I am good at this. So Pauline, it's been so great to get to rehear your story. I do want to ask you one last question. Okay. Do you have any specific goals with ballet as far as, even if it's just a move, I want to be able to get my pirouette to look like this or something? Is there something specific right now, or even for this year, or in general in life, that you would like to get better at in ballet, specifically?
I think that in sort of on a high level, it's always to try and be more. So this is what I think when I see myself on tape dancing, which is, I see professionals and they are their energy is all coming out from their body, out into the world.
Okay.
And I feel like when I watch myself, all the energy is pulled in. And I don't really know. So a lot of that, a lot of that I think is because I'm constantly like still thinking like I have to, do this and do that, like how to work my body to do these things. It's always to try and like, how can I extend my energy out more? I don't really know what that means, but that's sort of this high level, like to get more comfortable in just letting it extend out into my extremities. The more specific part of it is, over the course of the pandemic, I got so much better at pirouettes. I'm not by any means good, but better. Okay. I mean, pirouettes are an endless, like, never-ending journey.
Definitely.
But part of the reason is because during the pandemic, the teachers were restricted in what they could do, and if you had two people moving too much, then you're getting close to each other, and so pirouettes like stay in one place, right? So we were doing pirouette over and over and over and over. I mean, it's like there were so many pirouettes, and practice helps a lot. The other funny thing was Chasen's class and Wednesday night was outside, and there's a little platform.
That's so cool.
And there was no the wall that we were facing. There was no mirror. It was basically the glass of the storefronts. And so at night, like, you couldn't see anything. The only thing you could see was a faint reflection of the streetlights that were across the street, but they were mirrored into the mirror. And so to try and like find something to spot on, I would sort of, you're spotting on the light, but you know how when you look in a mirror and you look at something in a mirror, they're like behind the mirror, right? Visually, they're behind the mirror. And that helped me so much with my spotting. Like, I don't really know why, but like looking past the mirror helped me so much with my spotting. So when we moved back inside, I tried looking not at my face, but in the back of the room. And it helped a lot with my pirouette spotting.
Wow, that's a good, I should think about that.
Yeah, so it's just, for me, that worked better.
Yeah.
So then, okay, I'm able to mostly do singles. I can't always land them properly, but like I can mostly get myself around. So then it's like, okay, now I want to be able to do two. And so there's a little bit of fear involved in staying up and going twice, and then also you gotta really spot. So I've had a couple of different teachers with different suggestions about maintaining the integrity of your spine and not, and your the line of your shoulders and over your hips and et cetera, et cetera. And so like that, those kind of things, like I've done it. I've been able to do doubles, but not consistently because I think I can do them better if it's just like place yourself, turn twice, and then get down. If it's in the middle of a combination, I'm not there yet. So I think that and also there's times when I'm a little intimidated by having to do it, so I just don't. So it's really just, I need to push myself to just try. Yeah. And in more situations, and not, like the thing that I think in the back of my mind always is don't fall. Oh, yeah. Don't injure yourself. Don't fall. And so getting myself to be more secure in what I'm doing and more comfortable in practicing some of those things that, if I think back to like learning to do a bunch of different ballet things that are kind of scary and now are not scary at all, I want to sort of be back in that mindset with the next level. And I will say, the older you get, the easier it is to let fear stop you from doing things, especially like about injury and stuff like that. It's just slower to recover. But the reality is, like, I'm probably not going to injure myself going from a double to a single or a single to a double. It's just all in your head. No. It's really all in your head.
I definitely had that fear when I actually first was learning about doubles when I first was taking jazz. Mostly we just worked on singles, but then sometimes she would push us, or she would push, those of us that had been taking the class for a while to try to go for doubles in the across the floor or whatever we were working on. And I remember asking the teacher, can you like show us a double? I don't understand how to do a double. I did not understand how to get around that many times. And there was a lot of fear of just falling. And I will say one little suggestion that has helped me is do ab workouts. The more crunches and any kind of ab workout you can do. I was doing more ab stuff because I was taking this gymnastics class for a little bit. and the ab workouts were crazy, and I could barely do them. They were so hard. But then I went home and was practicing pirouettes, and
immediately
it was the first time I ever did a double. It just whipped out, and I felt like I was flying because it was the first time I ever did a double, and I wasn't expecting it, and it was actually like a smooth double, and I was like,
I love
what
that.
just happened?
Yeah.
And I realized the connection between the abs and working on pirouettes, and then I was doing that for a while and it was helping me. And then I actually recently, in my last performance I was in, we had to do a 2.5 turn on stage. I mean, it's one thing to try to get better on your own, but when you know you're going to have to perform it, I'm like, okay, because I can do doubles, but they're not always consistent. And I'm like, oh, and it's 2.5 now? Like, what the heck? That's almost a triple, which, like, once in a great while, I have whipped out in a triple randomly because I was just having a really good day. But, like, it's not that I definitely can't do. But my friend in the show with me, who was in the piece with me, was like, oh, do a lot of crunches. And she reminded me because I forgot about that link. And I was like, oh, I'm going to start doing that. Yeah. So I was doing that almost every day and then practicing it as well. And I was able to do it on stage. Was it perfect? No, but just the fact that I knew I could do it on the stage and it wouldn't look, I mean, I wasn't in the front row, thank God. But I mean, I will say, yeah, it just takes so much practice.
To keep up with the choreography.
Yeah. And even just, it's like every day you have to, or it doesn't have to be every day, but once, twice, 3 times a week, even if you just practice for 10 minutes, just doing the progressions of like quarter turns, then half, then whole, then 1.5, then 2. 1.5's really helped me get to 2 as well, which is a different type of thing, how you spot with those. But it almost just feels like 1. Even when we had to do 2.5, my friend was like, just pretend it's like 2. It's kind of just like 2, And I was like, no, it's not. It's 2.5. It's kind of like 3, actually. Yeah. But anyways, well, that's awesome. I'm glad you have like these goals, and it's so true that the fear, you never get to a place where you might think you want to, but no one really wants to live a life where it's just comfortable and there's never any change or anything new. And the only way to keep doing new things and growing is to face a little bit of that fear. It's like some of your fears you already faced, but like you said, now there's a little bit of new ones with new things. And I think even for professional dancers, they have their level, their version of that. There's going to be new things for them they haven't done. So I love that you're pushing yourself, and I think that's good advice for everyone too. Just push yourself, and also don't be afraid to try new things as an adult. I think.
Totally.
And it doesn't have to be dance. It can be whatever you want, but
you don't have to be good at it. You don't. You really don't. You might think you do because you've been told your whole life to get better and better and better at things. But yeah, you just do something because you're interested. Yeah. Do something because it's something you've always wanted to do. Don't worry about looking like an idiot or like a fool because you're bad at it. That's kind of the point. Yeah. And you will get better. It might be slower than you'd like because we don't learn as fast as an adult, but if it's something you've always wanted to do and you finally try it, it will be rewarding regardless of how well you accomplish your first or second or third or 20th class.
And don't worry about the results. I think sometimes we're so focused on money and like worldly success. We're just like, well, why would I spend time on something if I'm never going to make money from it, or if I'm never, that's not always the reason to do things or not do things.
And frankly, you don't know how doing something for your pure enjoyment will help you in whatever it is that you do to earn a living. Yeah. You just don't know. Yeah. Because our brains are vast energy machines in there that we barely use. Yeah. And, as an adult, it can be really easy to fall back on the things that are comfortable. It can also be hard to have the energy to do new things because you're busy trying to live your life.
Or it can give you energy. Because I know when I had my corporate job and I was a manager and I had a lot going on and it was stressful, but then I would drive to dance, which, I mean, people could say that's a different type of stress, but when I would go to dance, even though I was still learning, I was humbled every time. It was hard. I loved it so much, and I just remember after dance was my best time to, like, chat with people on the phone or like encourage my friends about stuff they were going through, because it would fill me so much that I had extra energy for other people in my life, and I always felt more excited and joyful. And I would leave work being so tired. Sometimes I'd be like, I don't want to go. I'm so tired. I'm sure you feel that like on Wednesdays.
Absolutely.
But then when I go, I don't know. I get the second wind. I'm so happy about life. I'm like, oh, thank God I went. So
for sure,
just definitely encourage you, whether it's dance or something else you've always wanted to try. And maybe you try it and you're like, oh, didn't love this, or, you know.
And that's okay too.
And it's up to you if you want to give it a few more chances, or if you're like, that's not for me, that's fine. There's so many things I've tried in life that I'm like,
it was fun to do it once,
me, but but like you took your one ballet class here, and you were like, I'm in forever. This is what sign me up. Like, I'm here forever. So yeah, I'm so glad you found it, that you love it, and you also never even know. You don't even know if, not that it's about this, but you don't even know if you could make money from something at some point.
You never know.
You just don't even know what kind of interesting, unique opportunity would open. So you never know. Do what you love. See what happens. That's our advice, I think.
For sure. Yep. 100%.
But Pauline, we went like kind of way over, but it's awesome.
So fun.
I love it. Well, did you feel like you got to talk about enough things? Was there anything you were like, I really wanted to talk about this and we didn't?
No, this was great.
Okay,
I mean,
good.
You make it so easy, and we could talk. I'm sure we could talk for another half an hour.
I know. I'm like,
this is great.
Yeah. Well, Pauline, thank you so much. Thanks for taking the time,
great opportunity,
planning with
appreciate
me,
you.
and letting me enjoy this amazing class with Natalia. That was so fun. So I'm glad you guys got to learn about Pauline, and hopefully you're encouraged for your own lives as well. And we'll see you next time.
See you in class.
Bye.